on anybody, because dependence breeds another aspect of indolence. You have shifted the responsibility to somebody else and you think that things would change. They would not. So basically you've got to understand that you cannot depend on anybody, you cannot depend on outside agency, you can depend on any authority. You cannot do anything except on yourself and your relationship with others and with the world. Now here is important. Your actions should be such that they do not spoil your connectivity with yourself, connectivity with your social group, connectivity with your family, and connectivity with the whole world. And there is nothing else. Like Sartre, I do uphold that we are abandoned, but this abandonment can be removed by self-help for each individual to elevate his existential survey. Self-help doctrine is based on the principle that there can be no universal solution to an individual's human predicament, as each man's problem is unique in its own way. So unique problems have to be solved in a unique way. You cannot have one mantra for all the suffering, and the same suffering of A cannot be solved by the same solution as suffering of B. It might be the same, but the cause would be different. It's not some analgesic which you take and your pain would be removed. No. So what you've got to do is, you have got to face and resolve the problem by yourself. And accordingly, you have to find out the solution on your own. Whatever action you take, yes, some guidance can be there. Yes, some hint can be there. But the action has to be yours. Correspondingly, what I say is that each individual has to find the unique method through which you can remove your miserable existence. You have to come out of that. Let's suppose it's raining heavily, you are in a mud, and it starts leaking. The fear is it might collapse. Outside is raining. So you say, okay, hopefully not collapse. I'll pray to God that it doesn't collapse. Why don't you just come out and move out to a new place? You'll be drenched. But the immediate danger of the roof collapsing on your head would be removed. That is action. The way to annihilate suffering is through appropriate action that has a capacity to wipe out the difficulties. We have to act in the living present. And to do something vital, do something energetic, which will bring out a different mind, a different quality of existence. As I told you, the suffering that we suffer, what do I do to mitigate my suffering? I don't keep on dying and mitigating. I come up, I read, I write, I talk to you. And that removes my suffering, because when I'm talking to you, when I'm writing, that's the anodyne, that's this action. And my action makes me forget my pain. Not forget it, it's still there, but I cross over. So you have got to change your mood. Connect with nature, as I will say. This notion of action is quite comprehensive. Now let me tell you. Of course, as I said, I don't agree with Buddha. Not on that way. No. I don't agree with the self-gurus who say some mentor would help you. You have got to identify what you can do, how you can do. And let me tell you, action does not only mean physical movement in time and space. People always think that action means you take up go to gymnasium and take up something. No. It also includes action of thought, action of an idea. The action of feeling, the action of environment, of opinion, the action of ambition, the action of food and psychological influence. And most of us are not aware that the food that we eat, the people we talk to, the attitude that we adopt, they all are manifestations of action. And if you can take that action, your pain would definitely be relieved. It also includes the actions of conscious as well as of the unconscious mind. My notion of action is, in fact, not my original. No. It is the one advocated in Bhagavad Gita 3.5, if you read it. There is no one who can remain without action even for a moment. Indeed, all beings are compelled to act. And how are they compelled to act? By the qualities born out of material nature and the three attributes, gunas, what they call it. Now, what are those attributes? According to Bhagavad Puran, and I refer to chapter 6, verse 153, nobody can remain inactive even for a moment. Whether you want it or not, you cannot remain inactive. You are breathing. That's action. So everybody has to act by the sabhav. Sabhav is mode of nature. Influenced by these teachings, I strongly suggest that without acting, you are as good as dead. So decision about what action should be performed depends on your needs. It can be individual decision, but this cannot be dictated by the person, but guided by what brings you the inner transformation and leads to the end of suffering. Now let's not forget, the younger you are, the more talented and knowledgeable you are, the more hardworking you are. But even they suffer. Their last minute nerves and streaming of thoughts, and result is stunning defeat. An outstanding sports person fails to perform because of his obsession with the trophy. A job aspirant is anxious about the job, and so anxious he is that he fumbles in the interview. So, if he had taken action to prepare properly, if the sportsman had not been obsessed on the trophy but on winning, or just playing well, so action is under your control. Fruit is dependent on the actions beyond your influence. Dependence on the fruit makes you a slave. So don't depend on it, but act still. And that will enable you to find fulfillment in the action and give your best to it. Enjoy it. You gain merit. You are independent of the result, and success is yours. Fix an ideal beyond your selfish and self-centered interest. That's most important. Higher the ideal, the greater the energy, greater the enthusiasm, greater the creativity. And if you think of the goal while acting, the mind shifts from the present action to the fruit, to the end. And then your concentration slips because you have got a goal which may be achievable, may not be achievable. The destination is not important, the journey is important. When the student, for example, is anxious to get high marks, his mind is not on the question paper. He has to concentrate on the question paper and answer accordingly. But he says, well, if I can't answer right, I'll get less marks. That's distraction. So you commit a series of mistakes and underperform. Acting focuses entirely on you. Do not allow the thought of fruit to interfere with the action. And that's what Bhagavad Gita is. Do your part, leave the result to the nature, to the God, or whatever you want to call it. And then, if you don't allow the thought of fruit to interfere with action, your action will be perfect. Success will be yours. Suffering would be a dream, and your mind will be at peace. A selfish person with a big viewpoint achieves nothing, neither excellence nor is he happy. So you have got to be, as I said right from the beginning, connected with the cosmos. You know, we talk of the Six Sigma theory, but centuries before the Six Sigma theory, Vedanta came up with this aspect and prescribed six the point path to the success. What are those? Creating energy, plugging the dissipation of energy. And how do you create energy? The endless direction, all energy, light, wind, water, gain power when unidirectional. You know, you are suffering because your thoughts are multidirectional. Make them unidirectional. And the thoughts meandering in different directions lose power. So energy gets dissipated. Worry about the past, anxiety for the future, and frenzy in the present. Why worry about the past? What has happened is happened. Why be anxious about the future? What would be, would be. Yes, Sarah, Sarah. And then frenzy in the present. Why not have peace of mind? Do your job and leave the result to anybody. So nothing in the world lasts. Forget that. And so suffering would also not last. That's the most important thing. Today they are suffering. After 5 minutes the suffering may not be there. Provided you act. So action alone, and a positive action which enables you to maintain your connectivity with yourself, with your family, with your well-wishers, even with your enemies, and in the cosmos in general, will help you come out of the abyss of suffering, reach the peak of your achievement and your ambition and your thoughts, and you will be a much better person. Thank you.